I know, God, I was a hopeless fucking romantic in high school. I wanted to be married by 21.
Oh, tell us more.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Throwing Tantrums. It may be you might be seeing this in another 6 months. 6 months it may have passed because we have a lot of content. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and whenever this is, hopefully we've done a lot of also Temper Tantrum versus. Today we're going to be talking about a couple things. Love, therapy, leadership, and dance. We're not going to get through all of that, but these are just talking points that we hope that you guys find interesting. If it's your first time here watching us or listening to us, my name is Emeroy, the founder and director of Temper Tantrum. Pretty much run everything, produce all the content, edit a lot of the content. I also run a social media company that helps produce all the content for this. So Temper Tantrum is kind of like a dance client that's working with my social media company. And I'll pass the ball over here and then over here.
Hello, my name is Lauren. I am on Temper Tantrum. I'm a dancer. I also dance for another dance company called the Core Dance Crew. And then I actually recently got onto another entertainment company called Movin On Up Productions. So yeah, it's been a crazy last couple months. So it's been awesome. Yay! I am eating this Pocky. It just made some crumbs. So I'm going to pass it to, not the Pocky, but I'm going to pass it to Krystle.
Hi, everybody. I am Krystle Vergara. I'm one of the directors of Temper Tantrum. And I dance, but not as much as this one over here. So I'm solely with Temper Tantrum, and I'm a mommy, and I work 9 to 5. That's about it. And I am into fitness training, so hopefully...
Me too. Yes. High five.
We'll have some guns.
Please give me a high five. Thank you.
All right, so it's a little bit about us. So anyways, let's go right into it. So the first topic we got here is love and relationships. The reason I wanted to bring this stuff up is because we recently had, at the time of this recording, Vision Paradox had its own version of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Same topics and whatnot, and it went through love and relationships, and then to actual relationship advice and the idea of couples counseling, or those kind of things, like the fun cutesy stuff, into the actual deep adult relationships.
Oh yeah, maintaining it.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So the fun cute stuff is the one that actually intrigues me the most is love languages. So that I think was the game changer for me. So I guess to start off with that, what are your love languages? To kick it off, my primary love language is acts of service. So it's specifically in the dialect of do not get in my way. Because there's acts of service where it's nice for you to do things for me, but sometimes you doing things for me means you're doing it wrong. So I'd much rather do it myself and you not be a distraction. So don't end that. My second love language would be it's quality time, but doing things. It kind of complements the whole acts of service. I like to spend quality time and do stuff. Hence, this is one of the reasons I do so many activities with everyone and also film it, because we can document it and then go back to it later on in life.
Content!
Yeah.
I'll do mine. How I like to receive my love is through words of affirmation.
Piece of shit.
Thank you. I
take that personally.
I have to receive constant positive communication through my relationships in order to feel good and rooted and, settled and connected with a partner. And that's just with friends, family, everybody. It's words of affirmation. And how I show my love is acts of service. And gift giving, which some of us may know. But if there's, I'll bring things to events. I'm the one
That's true, yeah.
Yeah,
you're the mama of the group,
Snack mama!
Yes, if you're sick, one friend got injured. He hurt his back the other day at work, and I immediately Amazon Primed an electrical, it shoots electrodes in your back, and a back stretcher, and a back brace with a cooler. And
oh damn, you got
it was
a recovery kit.
It was a big
Clinic
recovery.
Krystle.
But this is how I show love. It's me saying, hey, I care about you and your health, and I want you to get better. So things like that. But I understand that this isn't how people may want to receive love. So there are some people where I'll do acts of service, and they're like, "Why are you cleaning my room? Get out of my house."
Your active service in terms of getting the snacks, actually, that's one of the things I actually appreciate, because when me and Brandon are just straight directing, I'm super focused on what we're trying to shoot that day. Sometimes I keep in mind of oh shit, the dancers need to get sustenance, and then you doing that helps out. Like, oh yes, they're taken care of. Now do it again.
Yes, and it comes from general care. Like I'll see dancers getting exerted or looking like they're about to faint, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I care about you, so I want you to be okay, and this is how I can help.
I care enough for them to do it again.
But you good? Okay, well I need you to do another run because that was bad.
But it's good to know your love language, how you like to show it, and express how you like to show it with someone. But then to also understand how your person likes to receive it. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I'm amazed that you haven't lost your mind with us with the amount of insults we just throw.
Oh my god. I know it's all love.
What was that?
I know it's all love.
That's fair. Because I feel like when I've actually tried to genuinely compliment you, you're like,
I get so uncomfortable.
Yes.
No, you're like, I'm not used to this.
Like,
you usually spew all these hateful words, and I'm like, that's it.
Like one time you said something like, I'm proud of you or something, and I was like, don't say that in private. I was like, why are you saying that in private?
You have to say that. You have to say it in front of everyone else so they can see the acknowledgement. But there was one time when we were actually having a real conversation. I kind of gave you acknowledgements, and you and then you said you were about to cry or something like that. This was about dealing with yeah.
Don't remind me.
When I was actually. I mean, I can be human. So.
Yes.
What about you, Lark?
You can be that.
My love language is also words of affirmation.
Oh, look what I'm surrounded with today.
Words of affirmation.
Say nice things.
But I think, it's like saying nice things. Honestly, if someone texts me like, you're doing great, sweetie, I'll just be like...
That makes sense why you kept cheering Victoria on during...
Yes! Yeah, I also am dubbed like the best hype woman, because I'll just be like, if you're doing choreo or you're or playing basketball, I'm like, you can do it, I believe in you, and hey, it works, it does work. And we're like, wow. Actually, Victoria actually told me that. She's like, dang, you're like the best hype one. I comment literally on like all of her videos. I'm like, dang, hot stuff, you're so great. Oh my God, I love you. And she's like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, hey. So that is how, but it's also, it is a two-way street, because as much as I know like friends can be like sarcastic in their words or stuff like that, like I know intellectually that they may be joking, but I feel something totally different. And yes, I realize that. And I think that's also why in some relationships, like I can get really attached to what people say, but if someone doesn't like deliver on that end of like their words, then that like, I'll feel the need to believe what they say, but in my head, and I'm like, I don't think I should. So it's this giant conflict.
Like, are you talking about specifically about keeping a promise, or is it?
I think I can get really attached to some things that people might say, and I'll be like, well, okay, like you told me one thing, and here it is, we are a few months later, you're acting different. You haven't told me anything different, and I'm asking you, yo, what's going on? And you don't want to tell me what's actually up.
And that's when you have to do a check-in.
Yeah.
For example, like they say that they're attracted to you, but then they start acting differently, but they haven't said anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
cool.
Exactly that. So I realize that words are very important to me, and especially I actually maintain a lot of relationships through like social media and like texting and calling. So that is my receiving love language. I also, my two other ones, it's a hard tie, I think, between quality time. We had a conversation about that.
Oh yeah.
And physical touch. Yes.
Is that your second love language?
Yes. Yes. Hug me. Hold me.
Hold me.
Oh, you with a straight jacket. I love you.
What's your second?
My second is quality time.
Okay.
So yeah, with people who I really care about, I like the cuddling, like with Max or with Jordan. I love like holding, but it's not like something I go to. It's just like cool. But with friends, it's not something I do. I don't know.
Yeah,
because I feel like platonic cuddling doesn't exactly exist.
I think for some people it can. Me personally, I've never had a platonic relationship that I am really okay with, like with physical touch. Like I can hug friends, like I'll hug you like till the end. But like in terms of, I don't know. I think in my head when I was younger, if I would let people, like I was short, so like people would like put their arm on me or like friends, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I was like, you're touching me, and I never said yes. So like I took it as you think you're above me, but like don't
think you're better than me.
a little bit, yes. Like it's in here. I'm like, I know that they don't think that, but I'm not like, if I let them do that, then I feel like they'll think about me in a certain way, and I'm like, I don't want you, like, no, like I'm like putting up this entire aura where you have to get consent before anything happens. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. My daughter's like that, actually. Trying to find out children's love languages is interesting.
But I feel like they're very obvious. I don't know. Jordan's obvious. Like, well, one. Just to go bounce off your story real quick, and we'll talk about bounce off kids' love languages. When my friends did that, put their arms around me, I felt weird, but also like special, because I don't. Oh my god, no! My parents and all that stuff, they never really hugged me in that like cuddly kind of stuff. So I guess in that paternal sense, like I'm giving him like. All the love and whatnot, especially with the people I care about. It's also like knowing that Max's primary love language is physical touch, and you can imagine how tough that is in a long distance relationship.
Damn, you guys are troopers.
So, it was interesting. I never initiated it because I never like to friends, because one, I thought that was only appropriate in relationship aspect, and two, it was something I never got in regards to like my parents, so I never sought out for it. It was always just from my parents, just like doing, just like help out or do good in school. Yeah, and it's to bounce off with that, like about Jordan's love language. His is, well, for him, I think his two primary love languages is physical touch, words of affirmation. He has a tendency to like. Did you see that? Are you proud of me? He goes that kind of stuff, and to me, in my head, I just say that, okay, that's what he's looking for. He's he's essentially asking for asking for you to give me to give the love language. Yeah. And then and I know physical touch, because like when we're just watching TV, he'd just be like this, or his foot would just be on my leg. I'm like. Like, why are you like this? But it's like it's comforting to him. And it's just one time I was watching TV with Jordan and Max. They both randomly had limbs on my like. Jordan had a foot on my shoulder, and Max had her hand on my shoulder. So I'm like, I see your love language.
Here it is.
So it's interesting. So I feel like a lot of them are going to act on it. So I don't know. What's your story with?
Same thing. Nora's is words of affirmation. Oh no, physical touch and words of affirmation. And she doesn't like quality time. She loves to have her privacy. She's always asking me to give her space.
Wow.
And can you go to your room, or can you give me some alone time?
Wow.
So she likes her space, but when she does pop in, she's like, okay, watch me do this. And I have to drop everything and watch and comment on it. She wants to know if she did a good job. Or, Mommy, do you love me? And I'm like, of course, do I not tell you enough? I'm like, okay, well, up it then. But, and in physical touch, she really loves hugs.
Yeah. I mean, especially at this age right now, they all love physical
But
touch
it's
or
re-
hugs.
Not that much though, actually. Now she's getting into the stage where she has her first crushes, and she does not want us anywhere near her. She doesn't want her dad holding her hand or near her, and then me, she's just like, ugh.
Oh my god. Jordan just acts cool when he's in front of his friends. He's like, hey buddy, and then he's like, it's just like, I'm like, you're like you're in elementary school, you little bitch. Fuck you then. Walk away.
Oh my god.
Imagine I start cussing. Yes. No, that would be like CPS gets involved.
The principal's like, all the teachers are just standing there like, oh, sorry.
You're like, oh yeah, this is right, my parent.
Oh my god.
All right, what about your like? Let's going into like the whole like your first relationship and then your most recent relationship.
Oh god, Jesus.
Kind of like high school and adults. I know. Oh god, I was a hopeless fucking romantic in high school. I wanted to be married by 21.
Oh,
Tell us more.
That was the goal. Like, and then one of the reasons, just to add to the whole married aspect, trying to have the traditional like life. I wasn't good with kids. I was shy, so I went on a missionary trip to take care of kids at an orphanage to like get these skills. And I was like, I need to become a good dad. And this was like at the age of 15 or 16. It was so fun.
that's sweet.
My first girlfriend was around 16? I think 16. Or 14. Shit, I don't even know. How old are you in...
Middle school?
No, this is high school.
Middle school.
Shit, I don't even remember. But yeah, I don't know how... she saw me perform at her school or somewhere at church.
Oh no.
And I was friends with her best friend. And then notes started getting passed, like the old school crazy origami.
Yes, I would do that.
From my school to her school. She went to a Catholic school. So
they would pass notes. Dang.
Wow.
It's like her best friend would be our messenger and we'd just pass it, and then eventually it's so
sweet.
It's stupid. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that stuff works. That stuff works. If you're watching this and you're younger, or if you are our age, that stuff still works.
Yes.
Yeah, something about like an actual handwritten letter and the effort.
Oh my gosh.
In there. Yeah. So yeah, that and we eventually got together, but broke up. I feel like we got together my sophomore year, broke up like probably less than a year in. Yeah, we're still good friends. So I'm friends with all my exes.
Yeah,
so
yeah, same.
I'm not.
You're like, burn that bridge.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, but I was a needy little punk though, dude. On a date with them, or like we were out on an outing, and then she was just hanging out with her friends, and I'm like, oh, she doesn't love me anymore.
Oh, that's when you need your words of affirmation.
Yeah, the reassurance.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I didn't know what that was. Like, I didn't know, like, you know.
Understand.
Yeah, and then
We're just a bitch.
Yeah, it was so bad. I would have all these internal situations in my head that aren't real, and then by the time I'm done, she'd be like, "What the fuck happened?"
You've got a whole story going.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I argued with you for 20 minutes in my head. Were you not there?
Gosh.
Excuse me. So that was something I had to work on for a very long time.
Yes,
and
it's still a work in progress.
Imagine if I had that same mindset now, but like with Max. And then,
gosh.
No,
Oh, no.
not work. I'd be like so needy. Like, who are you with? What's his name? Huh? You like this picture?
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh yikes!
What about you guys? Your first.
My first boyfriend was actually in like 6th grade. It didn't really mean anything. Actually, and then there was a boyfriend that I had. I don't remember exactly what happened. There was like miscommunication. I asked him something and he answered in a way where if he answered the question that I actually asked, then it would have been like, oh, that's not a good answer to say. I asked him, what am I to you? He thought I said, what did I do to you? So he said nothing. Yeah. Yeah. Miscommunication at its finest.
Yeah. For like a second.
Yeah, so then I backhanded him. Yeah. This is in like 7th grade.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Oh wow. No, I'm like, I have a Rolodex of just like memories in my head, so I'm just like flipping through it, and I'm just like,
fucked up.
ooh, that wasn't very good. My
You know
goodness.
what that reminds me of? That one meme of that guy in the backyard just randomly slapping kids around.
I'm not gonna lie, I felt invincible after I did that, but don't do that. It's
Yes, don't do
not
that.
to anyone.
Yeah.
And then let's see, into middle school, there was this guy that I had dated in high school. There was this guy I dated in middle school, and then like we kind of got together, and then I realized I didn't like him, and so I broke up with him after like 3 days. I felt really bad. And then actually a little bit later, I got together with my high school sweetheart. We were together for like 3 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then he went into the Navy, and then there was just the summer that we didn't know how to communicate. We didn't know how to like actually talk about things that like bothered us. And I realized he was white, so he is white. There we go.
He was white. He's apparently transracial.
Yeah. Yes. But so he wanted me to like go on like a graduation trip with him and his family. And my mom said no, because she just didn't think that it was appropriate. You know, Filipino family is just like, you know, much more like conservative about that type of thing.
So you gotta lie.
Yeah. And I looked back on this and I was like, I think he thought that I didn't try hard enough. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Lie.
Because I'm pretty sure like in their eyes, they're just like, yeah, it's cool. It's whatever. But, and I realized that's like a big like cultural difference. And and so we broke up. Like we had this like giant argument. I'd gone to, on a vacation, and we had like, we're arguing like on different sides of the country. Yeah. I was in DC and he was in California. And then I came back, and then we broke up, and I was heartbroken for like forever. And he entered like boot camp at the beginning of my college year. I'd write him like a bunch of letters, and like I'd talk to him over Facebook Messenger.
You're stupid. Fuck you. Broke my heart.
But no, I would say like, I love you, like I miss you, like I hope like
After the breakup.
Yeah. And he was like, no, I don't. Like he just didn't want to be with me. And I was like, okay. And then fast forward maybe like a year later, his current girlfriend hit me up, and she was like, he's still in love with you pretty much. Cause she's like, he called me your name. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And maybe like a few months later, he like hits me up, and he's like, why did this happen with our relationship? And I was like, bro, I was like, you're asking? What do you like? Why are you bringing this up? You're the one who said like you didn't want to be together. So sorry about it.
I love this topic.
Yeah, actually, with this guy, it's not the end, because
It's a whole ass podcast of Lauren's relationships.
This is just one guy.
And you got your story too.
This is maybe like a year and a half ago. He hit me up after he had broken
Your
up.
high school sweetheart.
Yes, again.
Yo.
Yeah, he hit me up.
They stay around.
Did he text you in Tagalog? Mahal kita. I miss you, sweetheart.
No, but he did say, he was like, hey, like, how are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm good. Like, how are you? And he's like, oh, I just like broke up with my girlfriend. And I was like,
of course.
Well, I hope you're good. But I was like, I think you should talk to friends. Like,
and I'm not one.
Yeah. You know, like,
okay.
You know
That's
what I mean?
you
Like,
said to him.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I was like,
cool.
I think you should connect and talk with people you're actually close with, and not someone you haven't had contact with for 7 years.
Trying to feel that.
You know what I mean? And I was like, I hope you do better. I hope you are good. Like, okay, it wasn't that awkward
Saying
because it's through text message.
Is like,
but
do better.
But genuinely, I was like, I don't think it's appropriate for you to hit me up because what am I gonna do? We are strangers, and
at this point,
at this point, and it's not malicious, but I'm like, I think you need to be with people who can actually help you.
They want you to fill a void.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know who I've been to you and your perspective for you to hit me up, but in my eyes, I was like, it doesn't make sense.
She said, "I'm not the one."
I'm not the one.
Oh no, like,
don't.
Sorry about it. But on that topic, we'll end it. Krystle, you go.
I should just do one-on-one interviews with everyone, just sharing their love.
Like future love interests, we could just give them this one and be like, "Watch this."
Yeah, this is your homework assignment.
Even then, like say, like 40-year-old versions of ourselves are going to be different from now. Even a 20-year-old version. When I was 20, I was like an arrogant little fucking prick. I mean, you knew me in my 20s.
You were such a prick. Such an asshole.
Give us the third person perspective.
Yeah. What was your before you go into
I won't go too into it. I remember Instant Messenger AIM. This is how long ago it was. And I just have a memory of saying, no one's ever talked to me like that before. Don't ever talk to me again. Or maybe I said, fuck you, but maybe not. And then a lot of years went by and he was like, he became a dad. And I was like, maybe he's a nice friend now.
It was that. Okay, I remember you were mad. I was like, no one's ever talked to me like that.
And I was like, stand up for yourself. And I've always been that way. Like, don't let people talk to you out of pocket. And it wasn't horrible, but it's Emeroy. So,
looking back
on it, whatever he said, I was offended, and I took to AIM, and I was like, no one's ever talked to me like that. Bye, and I maybe blocked.
And this was just me. I saw it.
You're probably just like
on my computer. X. MySpace.
No. But we're buddies now. It's okay. See, people change. People get better.
That is true. People change.
It's okay.
No, I actually did take. I remember seeing that and it made me kind of reflect. Like, maybe I was a bit too much, and I was like too into myself. So,
do you remember?
And I was
what
this Bostonian.
A little bit. Was it when I tried to come over?
Yeah, I got in the car and he asked a question and then I guess I didn't answer properly and he said, he said, get the fuck out my car.
Did I really say that? That sounds about me. That sounds me. That sounds like me.
Oh my God.
I can see it as if it was yesterday.
Oh,
wow.
He said, get the fuck out of my car. And I was like, okay. And I had to walk across the park all the way back home.
Yeah,
but we were friends. But I don't know. He was an asshole.
I honestly, I'm not gonna take that back. But I'm only gonna add more to how much of an asshole I was. Really, I kicked a current girlfriend of mine out of the car as a joke. I went around the neighborhood, the block, and picked her up
as a joke.
Yeah.
But did she know?
No, it was.
Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. He's like, and take two.
Not funny.
Nope. You can't do stuff like that. That's how you get.
I almost feel like it was just, being a young dude or young
so
adult.
Young. We're
like I didn't have
1920.
I didn't have like the proper like. I hate making it feel like a scapegoat. Like. Male guidance.
Yeah.
So I was finally out of college. I was making pretty good money, and I was like, hell yeah, I felt ahead of some people.
Yeah.
So I was like feeling pretty arrogant. I was getting paid. I got a good job, being able to do whatever I want. So it would make sense where I was very arrogant, and it's led me to jail. For lack of a better way of what leads to what your arrogance eventually leads to. And it also eventually isolates you because no one wants to. Sometimes I feel like that right now when people go out, like they don't want me around because I feel like my energy is too much of like saying offensive things. Which I know.
Yeah.
But
please don't say the wrong thing. Please don't offend
One time a month.
so and then there's that, or they just assume I'm busy and I can't hang out. So
no, because you're always doing 50,000 things. But okay,
your turn.
First boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take it back real quick. Kindergarten, I had a crush on a boy named Jared. Hi, Jared. And then in first grade, I guess we decided to get married, and it was Halloween, so we set up our wedding on recess. I had a bridal dress. He was a G.I. Joe.
Did your mom know about this?
And she got a phone call. We had... oh, my God. We held hands down the aisle, and then we turned to each other, and I kissed him. And the teacher saw, and she called my mom. So I got in trouble for kissing a boy, but he kissed me too. We were getting married. Like, this is what
Did they call his parents too?
I don't know, but then because how crushes go when you're young, I guess you start to fight a lot, and we would play fight. On the way home, he would walk me to my place, or
This is
really
first
sweet
grade?
little boy. First grade in the project, so we walked home by ourselves. So,
no, yeah. Well, I walked home at like 6th grade to 5th grade, but yeah. But
this is first grade,
shit,
so we're walking home.
my mom did not
We're
let
little
that.
children walking home, and we're play fighting. And I get on top of him, and he's on his stomach on the pavement. And I'm like, I won. I got you. What do I do now? What's my finish move? Finish him. So I grab his hair, and I pull his head back, and I slam it forward into the pavement. And he just screams and gets up, and there's blood everywhere, and he's missing for a week. And then he comes to school, and he's got staples in his head. And he's like, don't worry, I won't tell anybody. And he didn't, and I never got in trouble for busting his head open. But we were playing, and I really liked him, and I felt really bad about it. And then I grew up, and I moved to Out the Projects, a nice town. And then my first official boyfriend was in 7th grade. And that was like one where we went to movies and held hands at school and kissed in the stairwell. Like, we won't name drop that one. But I found Jared on Facebook as an adult, maybe like 2 years ago. And he's still got the blaring scars for him. Wow. I'm so sorry. But relationships, good. Like you were with one all your years in high school. But for me in high school, I was by season. In New England, it's, you date by season. You have winter, summer. So basically before winter and you're snowed in, you have to find someone to shack up with. Not really because you're young, but you need to find someone to just be on the phone with or get snowed in with if you're allowed before winter hits. And then you're tired of each other because you've literally been stuck together all winter. And then by summer you break up and you get a summer boyfriend. That's fun. And then you look for someone more stable again for the next winter. In the winter, everyone's so geared up. You can't see if someone's attractive or anything. Like, you have to meet someone.
Damn, girl, I love
winter.
your North Face jacket.
Wow.
Show me your North Face jacket
Is
real
this
quick.
like a thing on the East Coast? Can we ask, like, if I were to ask Sean, like,
sure.
is seasonal relationships a thing?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Wow.
okay.
Yes. All my years of high school, I had a summer boyfriend, a winter boyfriend, a summer boyfriend, a winter boyfriend.
And they
all
knew
the way.
the end was coming.
We wouldn't talk
done.
about it, but it would happen, and then like clockwork, that one would want to fight the next school year, and
They would fight each other?
Yes, and there's been some fights.
I'm the winter boyfriend.
Winter's coming.
Winter's coming. That's the name of the podcast. Winter's coming.
You better get your shoes out.
Oh yeah, so that happened, but they're all still around. I'm at least friends with all of them on social media, all the summers, all the winters.
But what about did all
Very
your
nice.
exes hang out with each other? No, I'm just
Some of
kidding. That'd be so
They have a Facebook page, the boyfriend page.
like Scott,
Winter
like
boyfriends
Scott
only.
Pilgrim.
Yeah. You're a summer boyfriend. You need to get on the other Facebook page.
And they all have like picnics and all that
Oh my god.
shit. Dude, sometimes I wonder how an interaction between all my exes would be. That'd be
Wow.
Yeah, they'll all say something good. Everyone's still around. Everyone's still nice. They'd all have blaring, nice things to say, but, they're around. And if they're around, I'm sorry. No. but it's okay.
Oh my god. What about how you are in relationships now?
Oh my god.
Like, especially establishing
boundaries, needs.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we're kids, we try to we try to tough it through. We're tough. You know, we're adults. We have life figured out, and then when we get older and get a little more jaded, we realize it's okay to ask for help or to be, or how important it is to draw that line because we ain't got time for bullshit.
Yeah, I had a date with a pastor. You know, so maybe he was trying to get the demons out. I don't know. But he asked me about my dating style and all of that. And then by the end of it, he just looked up at me. He looked up at me and he was like, wow, you're really jaded. And he didn't say it offensively. He said it like in a concerned way. Like, do you understand that your outlook on relationships is jaded? And I was just like...
What is your outlook on relationships?
I'm positive. Lying motherfuckers. I'm positive. Oh, shit.
That sounded like like your body didn't agree with the words that were coming out of your mouth.
No.
The demons, they're here. Relationships.
Oh my gosh. Okay, where are we?
No. We're still talking about your outlook on relationships.
Yes. Okay,
what is it?
Same thing. What you say has to align with your actions. And when I was really young, my mother taught me one thing that stuck with me my whole life. She said, never assume someone has feelings for you unless they have told you themselves. Never go off of he said, she said, and don't go off of your own assumptions or your own feelings. It has to come out of their mouth. And that saves you. That saved me so many years from feeling like, oh, he must like me because Jesus Christ. Even if a guy likes you, there could be 50 reasons in the world why they don't want to commit, and then they'll just say other things. And it's like, okay, but you do X, Y, Z. You treat me like a partner.
They cuddle with you. They kiss you. They text you good night, but like, nah, we're just friends. Though.
Don't want to be in a relationship. Yeah, and it's like, okay, all signs point to you love me, but apparently there's something else wrong. And so I bounce out of those situations. But you have to say it. You have to mean it. I hear you. I hear words, but I watch your actions just as more. It's 90% action. And the rest tell me like I'm cute and stuff. Like, say the fun things. But yeah, relationships, they take a lot of work. You have to be willing to, gosh, I don't give much of myself unless I know there's going to be like a commitment. We're not going to fight unless we're in a relationship. Yeah. I'm a pandemic divorcee, so that's added to that statistic. But we are amazing friends, great co-parents. But jumping back into the dating pool after that is like, it is something else. So,
are you using any of the apps?
It was on Tinder's just a joke. Like, we're gonna just not. We're gonna not. But God, do we talk about current?
Yeah.
Current?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
If you're watching this, I think I warned you I was going to say some shit. So
it's okay. It won't come up for like another 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let's see if anything's even still happening by then. This guy's amazing. We get along great. Every single day. Good morning texts. Through the day. Phone calls. Video call to say goodnight. Oh, making dinner. This is what I had for dinner. What are you having for dinner? Okay, now I'm going to call you to say goodnight and wish you sweet dreams. And that's like the week I have Nora. If I don't have Nora, we're usually together going on fantastic dates, having tons of fun. It's very much like a relationship, but we're not in a relationship now.
Wait, I thought...
No, that lasted one day and then there was a freak out. And I was like, never mind, let's not. So maybe too soon, because it was like 3 weeks. So we're still dating. Like, we're together.
Trying to speed run everything.
Yeah, we're together as if anyone who sees from the outside would think we're in a relationship, but
we're lying.
Within communication with each other, there's no relationship.
So you guys are just dating exclusively, right? Or
no? This dude could go on a date tomorrow. I could go on a date tomorrow. We could meet somebody else.
So you guys are just
very gray water.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not transparent at all.
No. And there are a few check-ins, but, you know, we're both divorced people, so we want to just take it slow, and there's other things. No.
Just the
murmur after.
Woo. Things aren't easy, and people have different needs, and people have certain things they want out of relationships. And I think that everyone is, you know, you should respect. So I'll go into a shitty situation, shitty one. One time I dated a guy where everything was great, similar to this, and we weren't progressing, and I realized I had to sit down. I like to do check-ins. I don't like to come into it full of emotion. I like to come into it having thought what I'm going to say, and then also ask them, are you ready to have this talk? Are you ready to sit down and receive this information so that it can be productive?
So you set the space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we sat, I asked, hey, like, I feel like this isn't progressing. I really love to know where your mind's at, what's going on. Can you clarify a few things for me? And then I list what I've been assuming, building up in my head with intrusive thoughts. and then he clarifies, and I come to find out everything's great, except I weigh too much. And that's why he doesn't want to commit to something more, because I'm not as fit as all his other girlfriends have been.
Yikes.
And and I mean, for him, he's a very fit person. So,
what's his name?
We're not going to go into that. He's a very fit person, so it's understandable. Like, I respect that. I respect that he lives a very healthy lifestyle, and he wants that out of his partner. It wasn't that I'm not a healthy person. I just wasn't.
There was an image he had in mind that
yes, and he literally said, you know, it's frustrating for me because I wish you looked the way I wanted you to look, and if you did, I'd marry you tomorrow. And so, oh God, the look on your face, honey. Oh no! But yeah,
the camera caught it.
It's not a fun situation to ever be in, and so I've definitely taken steps to work on my self-worth and you know, feeling like I accept myself as is, and everyone else should accept you as is. And maybe I'm not that person's cup of tea, but I'm definitely a handful of others' cup of tea, and I'm my own cup of tea. So as long as you look at yourself in the mirror and you're happy with what you see, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And I think we have a body positivity piece that we also worked on that Ms. Lauren's into. So take a good look at that one. Listen to the words.
Okay.
Watch the video. That's important. If any of you ever come across a situation like that, like, just, you don't have to
break up with him immediately.
Yeah, I mean, immediately, but you don't have to take extreme offense either. Part of me wanted to say, you know what, you're shallow, you're this, you're that, but everyone has their own respective needs and wants, and that was that person's need and want. Unfortunately, the personality of mine wasn't enough, but usually in situations like this, people come back anyway, and they regret it, and they come back crying. And
did they come back?
Everyone.
Is he trying to come back?
Everyone. I've got guys who were kind of like this 15 years ago that are still around, that are still DMing as of like 2 weeks ago, from 15 years ago. So, you know, as long as you work on yourself, and you're happy with yourself, and you treat people with the kindness and respect that you want to be treated with, the right person will come along. So, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Relationships, so much bullshit. But I leave them like, okay, I hear you, thank you, bye, and just go my way.
I think it was something I heard in therapy, was that you can't tell your partner to change. Because they have to want that for themselves.
Yes.
Because the minute you start criticizing them, or you like, especially unsolicited advice or anything, or criticism, it goes into defense mode. It goes into the mode of like, am I not enough? You know, because now there's a comparison happening. Yeah. The only thing is, I mean, you can't expect it. But you try to better yourself first. You try to be the inspiration or catalyst. But at the end of the day, it's what matters is the connection that you have. And if that image, some people view image important or in high regard, and if that's not aligned, then that's something you have to have an honest conversation with yourself and your partner, and maybe part ways. But you can't force change on someone because they're only going to resist it because they're like, fuck are you to
you gotta accept people as they are. Completely, especially in this age. In your 30s and whatnot. We are
and we calling you out on Twitter and shit, dude. Whole ass thread, and then now you're trending on all the other meme pages.
That is a thing.
Yeah. So speaking of therapy, you guys go to therapy?
Yeah.
I get a therapist. I haven't gotten one yet.
Have you ever in your life?
No.
They're
I've been
amazing.
meaning to try.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like here and there. You have it, and then it will open up a lot. A lot will come up, and then you need to also know how to digest that. You need to know how to come out of the emotional hangover after you've brought everything up and out in
Emotional
therapy.
Hangover,
Yeah, that's a big one. So therapy's great, but just be prepared.
And it's also like finding a relationship. Yeah. Because I know I've talked with people, they've gone to therapy several times, but the thing is, it's like it just it feels cold. Like some people need to have their energies match with the other person. I'm grateful that my therapist, she also used to run a nonprofit theater company, so she gets where I'm coming from, like when I'm with running companies. So it's. I was talking about this with Vision Paradox when I don't know when that podcast is coming out, but in the future. One of them was skeptical about it because he hadn't done it himself, but he knows of the benefits. It's to know it, but then be skeptical. And I would say for those of you considering therapy, like I give it a shot. It only works if you're ready to put in the work.
Yes,
it's like it's not a magic drug. It's not a magic anything. It's a way. It's if anything, like I don't know, Rafiki showing you the reflection that you need to see. So like they're merely a mirror and they're asking you questions that really point back at yourself. And if they're not there to solve your problems, they're there to help guide you and kind of help you question your own beliefs and reality. And sometimes you have breakthroughs, sometimes you have paradigm shifts. And I think that's something you got to be ready for, because you got to really take a deep dive into the icky waters of yourself, and much of which sorry if I'm going on for so long.
No,
keep going.
Like sometimes looking at yourself isn't the best part, because we often end up numbing ourselves with distractions. And I think I was doing that for a while. Once my son moved, there was a gap of time. Like Saturdays, no longer spending time with him. I think it's been my coping. I think since college, breakup. There's a gap. I throw myself into work, and then I didn't let myself process it, but it was festering, and then the loneliness from it kept growing. But then therapy, she didn't fix it, but talking about it helped. And then her being an artist is like, dude, you're an artist. Like, create. Use whatever the emotion is as a energy to create something. I kind of did. So it was a video instead, because there's so many other things right now. I don't have time to do another dance video, to be honest. But yeah, that's my take on it. It's great. So
therapy's good. I've had it since I was very young. I've had so much therapy in my life, to the point where when I found out schools had school therapists, I would just go hang out. I'd spend my lunches and just hang out in the room with our school counselor and just talk. And, once you get used to talking about your feelings and bouncing it off with someone back and forth, it's amazing. And I would not be the woman I am today, as understanding and forgiving and, all of that, if it wasn't for therapy. be some off the wall.
Based off the stories you shared.
Oh,
Yeah. Experiencing unfortunate things at a young age, seeing things, incidents you shouldn't see.
Sending your whole cheerleading squad to the hospital.
Oh my gosh, college accidents. But yeah, like, there are certain things you go through in life, and if you don't know how to cope with it, it can really spiral, and it can eat away at all your family relationships, work relationships, intimate relationships. You can feel like the world's out to get you, and it's easy to fall into your life circumstances and feel like you're the victim, and you can be the victim, but you don't want to carry that on forever. You want to kind of be able to come up out of it and grow. Yeah,
there's that saying, because when you said that, what came up for me was that it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Life happens, man, but it's not your fault. Fucking economy went to shit, but it's your responsibility to try to make something happen.
Yeah.
And as tough as it is, but easier said than done. And I mean, damn, you're right into the deep end for this one, man. And then I think that's and I think here in LA, I don't know how it is in the other places, in other cities, we're lucky to have other forms of therapy, such as dance movement therapy, paint therapy. Some people like the rage rooms, even though it's not necessarily like not the artist stuff. It's funny because how the therapy always it's going back to something active or creative, which is what much of, as far as at the time of this recording, Western society doesn't really value.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, therapy doesn't just have to be sitting in a room with a licensed specialist talking about your feelings. You can be sitting in your room playing music, meditating. I journal a lot, so if something happens and I don't want to go off the deep end and yell at somebody, I will write my feelings out on a piece of paper in my journal. I'll date it, and then I'll go back the next day and read it, and if I still feel strongly, I might talk to the person, but usually I don't. After I've journaled my feelings, they're out of my head, they're on the paper, and I've expressed myself without burning any bridges or,
Do you guys have tools in what you do and how to process your own emotions?
Yeah. If someone says something to me that hurts me and they don't realize it's hurt me, but it did. Today, Emeroy said So, but like that, and I'll have intrusive thoughts that'll keep me up at night. So I'll start to stir and I'll start to think over and over what was said, what could have been done, what was my part in it. And instead I just say, you know what? I don't care what time it is. I don't care what's tomorrow. Let me get up and do this right now. And I keep my notebook on my nightstand with a pen. I turn on the light real quick and I just start writing. And I just write it out. And it doesn't matter how it sounds. I just say how I feel. This person said this, did this. This is how I feel. I ask my questions. Did I do because of this, that, blah, 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 and get it out and then look at it. And I close the notebook and I put it away. And it's getting it out. It's just,
better than letting it stir in your mind and it becomes more in front of you. It almost feels tangible, or like you can see it, and then
it really helps. That's a big one.
You have any?
I journal as well. I've been kind of I need to put it back into practice. The past couple of weeks have just been kind of crazy, so journaling definitely does help. I think I have 3 full. Now I'm on my 4th, but just journaling feelings. Actually, when I was on the plane, I had this conversation with this person, just kept playing in my head. And I was like, okay, I need to write this out. And I just wrote out this imaginary conversation. And I honestly haven't thought about it since.
Huh.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is very therapeutic. It helps me see that whatever is in my head is actually, it's real, but it also everything gets bogged up in there, and you can be it can just be really tumultuous, and then you're just playing it over and over, and it bleeds into your everyday life. It bleeds into how you do things, and then if you don't deal with it up here, like it'll definitely like it'll make me like forgetful. It'll make me like, oh crap, I need to do this. And then it's like this downward spiral of everything just getting affected. So, so that's where I'm at right now. I need to go and journal. It's honestly really, really helpful. It's fun. And then it helps me be creative. It helps me see things, especially when you're like really busy or you have like a 9 to 5 and you're like, I'm just so tired, you know, I just like, just because you have a 9 to 5 and you're like physically tired, that also comes with like emotional stress and emotional buildup as well. And the more that you don't deal with it, it just kind of keeps going and building. So deal with your stuff. But also, in addition to therapy, I do dance a lot. I work out a lot.
Yeah.
I'm injured right now. So me not being able to really work out has been, it's been rough.
Question. Do you guys hang up photos in your home?
Yes.
Like of loved ones or just pictures on your walls? Because I don't. And apparently that's like for a reason. Like people who don't put up
What's
pictures.
The reason?
I think we just have this,
yeah.
It's a bit of like a disconnect, but then it's also the same thing. So, you know, when babies, you do like peekaboo.
Yeah.
What is it? Object permanence?
Object permanence.
Object permanence. So you go peekaboo, they really think you're gone. You're like, that's the, oh my God, you're there. There's also emotional permanence. And this is when if someone or something isn't in front of you, you have zero connection to the feeling. So very similar to Emeroy. I photograph everything. It's ungodly how many pictures and videos I take.
You're one of the few
when
people
I'm with
that probably still use Facebook albums.
I have so many albums on my phone, in the cloud, on my laptop, on Facebook, everything on Instagram. And I do this because of that. When your people aren't around you, it's hard for you to connect back to that emotion. And so you look at the pictures to remember and to reconnect to that feeling, that experience, all of that. But people like that have that emotional it's not a disconnect, but just, what it is, we don't usually hang up pictures of people.
I haven't done it. Because the main reason I haven't done it is because I don't consider where I'm at right now a home. So that's why I always say come through the studio. I never say come to my house. I never say come to my home. I say come to my studio.
Yeah. Something different.
It's distancing language.
Yeah.
So because I know it's not where it's a temporary spot. Because if I get too comfortable with it, that means I'm making it a home.
Yes.
So that's why I'm like I haven't put it up. But that's kind of a crazy thought too. Because when I do look at Max catches me all this because we FaceTime each other all the time. But when I see old videos that I posted of Jordan, I just start crying. It's like, why do you do this? She's like, why do you do this to yourself?
Off of that note, even just like on social media and stuff, like me, if I were to if I had a significant other, like if it is a big step for me to like post a picture of you, because that.
That's such a thing now.
Yeah,
so crazy, right?
Or because it's like, okay, like you are in my life and I'm showing it visibly.
You're in my feed now.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
You're
welcome.
Yeah, or like if I tell like my parents, or like that's a huge step, because it's like behind closed doors, people don't have to see, like what could be going on. And for me, if I because I would hate to post something and then 2 months later you're gone.
Yeah.
Exactly. And 2 months goes by like that, and I'm like,
we gotta
what's
wait
the
it
point?
out.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I don't want that there, because I'm gonna look back at it and then all of these feelings are gonna come back. Like honestly, like complete like disconnect, like I don't see you, like it helps for me to move on, but
out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. But honestly, on my end, like even though you might be like off of my feed, it will just stay in my head for months and months and months. It's crazy. Yeah.
I can, as long as I don't see a picture.
What did Vision say in WandaVision?
Oh no, that's so
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Vision, he
about
says, yeah, what is grief if not love persevering?
That scene, that line, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sitting home right now because how sad Jordan was moving. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry.
Yes, we will. This will be the one.
This is the emotional episode. Lord.
Yeah.
The only person who I actually have up in my room in a picture is my mom. She's sitting like a boss in front of the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, like mine is a little box thing that we got from student picture day of Jordan and him and his little other outfits. It's just him, and then on my desk is a picture of me and Max. So like those are the only two things on my desk.
My friend had drawn me and this other guy like as characters that we were cosplaying. And like after like all this drama happened between us, I couldn't look at it. It's sitting in my drawer, just like face down.
Isn't it so crazy how we anchor our emotions to the things like around us?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
like,
weird.
In reality, it's just a piece of paper with a drawing.
Yeah,
the emotional like
the
connection.
Yeah, the history behind it, the
Humanity
memories that
is
it
so
brings
crazy.
back. You're just like, I can't look at it, and I don't like it's a beautiful. It's Rio drew it, and it's a beautiful piece of art. It was given to me as a gift. He commissioned it from her as a gift, and I'm like, I can't. I can't.
Sucks.
That's why it sits in a drawer. That's like because I can't give it up. But I also like I'm not gonna like destroy it. That's like it's weird.
Sounds like that's something you should talk about in therapy.
Oh yeah. Okay. I need to go to therapy.
You might need
High
a new
five.
favorite object.
Therapy 5.
Leadership. We three have been in positions of leadership. Everyone else that didn't make it, they're all useless. That's why they're not here today. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you know who you are because you were tagged in the email.
I'm just kidding. No. Okay. What do you guys think makes a good leader? Because I've been in situations where I defer when people have asked me like, you should just like, nah. You know how much responsibility that is? Fuck that. and then someone else who's in charge, I'm like, I should have taken charge. This guy's a dumb fuck. I've been in those situations way too many times. Anyways, what do you guys think? Like, or if you guys have been in similar situations.
Okay, so I've been in leadership like all my working years, and I'd say having people above me and then a team below me.
Oh God, Satan.
Active listening is vital. You have to hear your coworkers out, your employees out, your team. Really hear them, understand their not I want to say what they're good at, but their strengths.
Yeah.
Utilize their strengths.
What they're good at.
Yeah, don't give them something. Don't set them up to fail, basically. You know, if you're going to hire somebody, make sure they have what you need and give them the support.
Hashtag HR Krystle.
Yeah, there we go. You got to give them the support that they really need, because I've been thrown into tons of jobs where they're like, okay, we'll train you, we'll do this, we'll do that. We don't want to set you up to fail. And then they throw me in and disappear, and I've completely been set up to fail.
Yes.
and then you have to fight and rise to the occasion and, you know, earn that cookie regardless.
Oh, God.
But it's stressful.
That corporate bullshit. Hey, if we hit this month's milestone, we'll feed everyone to ice cream.
Look at ice cream. Yeah. What do you want us to Postmates?
Assuming that everyone just fucking like in elementary school.
Yeah, but listening, really playing off your people's strengths, which involves actually paying attention to them, because there's so many leaders who don't pay attention to their team, don't communicate properly with them. Things slip through the cracks. Not everyone's aware of what's going on, and so
that's one of the things I like when, especially with in the group chats and when we bring some things up, is you bring the questions that I'm often overlooking. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things I appreciate about it, because oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Fucking bitch, you right though.
Okay, so almost all the time in my relationships, guys I date, that's one thing they always say. But you're right, Krystle. You're right.
Dang.
I fucking know. I know.
Own it.
So good. And then she also is a great mediator when Brandon and I are seeing things differently.
Okay, fellas, so why don't we
Oh yeah.
sit down?
Let's just sit down, take a breather. Who wants a bagel?
Who wants a bagel?
Who wants a
Let's go.
bagel?
How about ice cream, guys? And we're all just like sitting in front of Baskin Robbins.
Bagel bites.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing too, in leadership, especially when you're working with a whole bunch of other leaders who are, and also it gets even more complicated when it's your friends because there's a boundary that sometimes gets blurred.
Yeah.
And thankfully, like with the current board, we know that boundary very well because there's been moments where we disagree.
Period.
Wow. Is there a specific time you know? There's that we know.
Off the top of your head.
Yeah. And then was it that one time you accidentally texted to the group chat instead of me?
Oh no.
Yeah. Right.
What happened?
Was it? Yeah, it was.
It is.
Delete it. I'm like, I can't delete it. It's too late.
Oh no.
Everyone's seen it, and I've offended people.
Oh, God, yeah. Well,
now I've offended people.
Yeah. In short, Brandon and I were seeing things. I think we were seeing things.
They were having a thing, and I was
saying the same thing, but
emotionally
differently.
exhausted, so I didn't have much patience in me, and I'm just like, what the? Why?
Yeah.
And I voiced myself how I wouldn't typically voice myself.
No, it was different.
But everyone took it in stride. Actually, it was very good.
We were like, oh shit, Krystle mad.
I didn't mean. But we bounced back very quickly. What is it when I mediated myself?
Yeah, like,
very fast.
Because once we got clear, I think of like, because I know we were like seeing things differently, and then but it wasn't like it didn't fester over the day.
It was done.
It was done. Like, and we got
late to the
clear of what was what, and I think points were being made and points were being like, I think we eventually got to the understanding of it, and I think it was handled well. But that's just my perspective of it, because I could say it and it ended fine. I don't know what Brandon really want to say. Oh, this motherfucker.
But I came in late to the party, and I was probably tired. Maybe I was late.
You were tired that day. I remember you said that because I remember I texted you. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, he was pissed. But I wasn't paying attention, and I didn't notice that they came to an agreement
already.
On whatever was going on.
We came to an agreement already, and she came in the middle.
I came in busted like the Kool-Aid man. Like, what the fuck?
Like, why are you guys fighting? And we're like, we're done.
Yeah.
Feel it? Oh,
it's like when the mom comes in the room and the siblings are fighting. It's like, ah!
Yeah, and that's one of the things I appreciate about, I don't know, because I feel like they acquiesce, so to speak, because I'm the leader. It's weird for me to say that, because I prefer to work behind the scenes and like operate, but it's weird for me to have an official title that way. But in that sense, yeah. But I appreciate how understanding he is, and how flexible and how he's been able to see the different sides that I'm concerned with.
Because you both are definitely very strong leaders.
Yeah, because we're both bringing to the table our experience of leadership, leading teams. Yeah. So, and we both have, I think we have similar philosophies in how we care for the team. It's the approaches are different, which is sometimes, and that's one of the reasons I enjoy working with them. We kind of get the feeling, the family value part. The execution is different. Like, I think during the Movin On Up Movin On Up auditions, like him and I we were just joking around and we just looked at each other, and like that's the part I like about working with him. We saw eye contact, like we knew each other, the ideas that we wanted to do. It was like, yeah, we're doing that. We didn't have to say anything. He was like, we're doing it. So that's like it's a good kind of chemistry. But yeah, but Brandon, fuck you. So
At the end of the day,
Fuck you.
and
We love you.
yeah, and then what about you? Because you were in a leadership position with
yes,
Core for
with Core.
a very long time.
For Core, I had been there since the beginning, and I was honestly a dancer for a really long time, and then there came a point where I was like, oh, I think I want to like give back and contribute like in a different way, in addition to being a dancer, and so I became like one of the team captains, and a lot of it was just like really just checking in with the team and like trying to make sure like everyone's good and like figure out where people are. And now I do that at work millionfold, and I'm like,
Oh,
dear
man.
God, which is funny actually. Now
Take
that
care
I
of
think
your
about
goddamn self.
but I didn't realize once there were some changes and I wasn't a part of the team at a point, I didn't realize how much people had looked to me and they were like, it's weird not having you here, because like there was like something like energetically and like emotionally missing. I had literally been there. The only reason that I wasn't there was because like of something that happened behind the scenes, which I will talk about. And so it wasn't when I left, it wasn't by choice. Long story short, some things happened between like me and another member, and it cost me my board position and my position on the team.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it was pretty bad. And so like I understand why. Like looking back on everything, I totally understand why. This was actually at the beginning of the pandemic when all of this like crazy shit happened, and it was really rough. Just having that happen and then going into quarantine, and then like I had talked to the other board members about it, and it was. Those weren't words.
So, but that's
Yeah.
We understand.
Yeah.
I feel
But
you.
like looking back and seeing like what happened, like I understand why it had to happen, and it made me really reevaluate like what I was doing and what and like how people could see it, which I'm glad that. I don't know if a lot of people do know about it on the team, about what happened. Well, so me and this other guy on the team, we were dating. There came a point in time where he and the girl that he was living with, like he would like it was like a lot of it like chipped away at me like day by day, like for a period of months. I was like, okay, like you say you're not together, but like we're dating, and I just feel like
those feelings.
yeah, and it festered, and like there came this point where me, him, and her were like having dinner, and she like playfully bit him on the arm.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nope,
She
done.
played. Yes.
Done.
And then I was like, what? Like I was on my phone and I was like, I just saw that. We're not going to pretend that didn't happen. What is going on? And he didn't say anything. That's the thing. I asked him, like, I like texted him, and then like he and her went outside to like fight. He still wouldn't say anything. I had asked him about it like 3 times, and he didn't say anything.
Ooh.
And then she was like, why are you mad? Like, what's going on? And I was like, him and I are like dating. What's going on between you two? And she said that they were still dating. Yeah, and he didn't say anything.
Yikes.
Jesus fucking Christ. He had some balls to have both of you guys at the table.
This is the beginning of the night. Basically, I'm sitting outside of their house because they like he and my other friends were all moving in together, and I call her because I was like, okay, like what's happening? And then she tells me all of that. I was like, I'm sitting outside of his house right now. I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna call him out. So do you want to come? And she's like, yeah.
That body language right there is like looks like you're about to beat his ass.
We'll go into that in just a second.
Oh,
So
No. Okay. So let's remember, she backhanded somebody.
Yeah.
7th grade, guys. 7th grade.
She was ready for that.
So I knock on the door. My friend opens the door and she's like, hey, like, what's up? I was like, where's so-and-so? And she's like, he's in our room, like helping helping our friend like put up the TV, and I walked past her and I was like, "Get the fuck outside!" Yeah, yeah, and he doesn't look at me. He's still like my other friend's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "So he has been dating this girl and me, and she's gonna come over right now, and we're gonna deal with this."
Damn.
So
what an idiot.
He doesn't look at me. He walks outside and he takes his keys out and he like goes straight to his car. And I'm like, nope. And I was like, I can't put hands on him. So of course my thought process was I have to grab his keys, because if I grab his keys, then he can't drive away.
Yes.
So we're like wrestling for them and he's like, get off. And I was like, you're going to have to kill me.
You want to take that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it was not good at all. So he like rips them from my hand and I had like skin hanging off of my fingers.
Ooh.
I'm not kidding. And so I'm like adrenaline's just pumping and I see red. And so he's tall. So I jumped on him, but I'm also like, he's really strong too. So he could have probably like slammed my head into the floor and cracked my skull. Thankfully he didn't. Literally my friends come outside and they pull me off of him. And like, once I'm like, oh, there are other people involved. And I'm like, and I like kind of come to, and he like takes that second to like get in his car and drive away.
Oh, dude.
And then the other girl comes and she's like, where's so-and-so? And they're like, he left, but they're, It
But
was
they live
crazy.
together now, so I mean, he left home, so now it's just...
Yeah, and that was the day that they moved in, so...
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
shit.
and all of these are friends of ours that have been friends for literally, like, years.
That is some mess. Like, too
Yeah.
grown, too done, too old to just deal with anything.
Yeah.
That's like... I have a big thing about that with guys and female friends. You know? I'm like, I don't know how much of a... I don't necessarily believe in female... Look on his face. I don't believe in opposite sex, like, best friends. Yes, friends, like, we're buddies, but we don't talk, like, every day. I'm not calling up Emeroy or any other guy, you know, if something happens.
I believe that too.
They're
Honestly,
not the first ones I go to. If someone's calling you every day, like, one of you have feelings. Like, not both. I understand that. But one of you does.
Yeah.
Because...
Or it's your mom. Or your dad.
Yes,
or like some
like a
kind
family
of
member.
Yeah.
That familial love.
Yeah.
But if it's not that and it's opposite sex and you're both into the same gender, then somebody has some feeling. And it's always been true. I've always told the guy, multiple men in my life, so this person is talking to you every day. And I flat out ask, have you ever had feelings for this person? And I ask very honestly, and they answer honestly. And then I say, has this person ever had feelings for you? And they usually will say no, or I'll dig a little more. And it's like, okay, somebody's harnessing something or holding a torch. And as long as you understand that and you're not going to hurt their feelings or anything like that, like, fine. But if it doesn't feel right, I'm out. I don't wait to find out. I'm just going to go. Like, you can have that friendship. Bye. Like, enjoy it. But usually you can tell. You just know. And I've had that where the best friend, oh, my best friend, we're best friends. Well, and then they had sex.
I don't have any best friends. So I don't consider it. So that's like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it didn't. I already knew their history because their history unfolded right in front of me when I was living with her, and he was coming over pretty much like every single night.
Wait.
But at the same time, he and I were also, so it was messy. It was very, 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 very messy. Yeah.
This sounds.
Yeah. It was
and this was right before the pandemic?
I would say it started, all of that crazy stuff started towards the end of the beginning of 2018, rolled into 2019, and then rolled into like their relationship happened, and then like him and I started talking again, and then it rolled into 2020, and then all hell broke loose, and then
nobody gets that much of you.
Well, you know what the crazy thing is, and this is why it, like, so many things bothered me. I would still see them hanging out, like literally a week after everything happened. I'd still see them hanging out.
For sure, absolutely.
And I'm like, okay.
Did not happen.
I was like, did I was like, obviously, like, she wasn't there, but I'm like, okay, you guys are, like, you're really funny. Actually, I'm not done. So she told me that, like, they were together, and then all hell broke loose. I talked to her, like, right after everything, and then we kind of, like, made up. And then 3 weeks later, she's like, we're getting back together. And I was like, okay.
Look, it ain't that good.
Yeah.
I promise it's not worth it.
And then 5 months later, him and I finally talk. We see each other for the first time, and we talk, and he's like, what happened? And I was like, you were dating her behind my back. What are you asking? What happened? He was like, no, I wasn't. And I was like, yes, you were.
When
and
guys
then
act dumb.
Yeah. No, but then she hits me up and she's like, everything I told you, like, wasn't true.
Oh my gosh.
So everything, yeah.
This is why I stopped dating guys from America, period. I just cut it off.
Yeah. So she told me that, and then I was like, so I pretty much assaulted him for nothing.
Was she just trying? What was her motive?
She doesn't like me.
Oh, wait,
my God.
wait.
No, I honestly don't know, because she said that she had believed the words that she was telling me.
Wait,
I'm not
wait.
That
So he was not lying to you.
No.
She felt like there was something there.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, it can happen where there's like an emotional connection.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, that. I think that was the hard part, where I was trying to get the answer out of him, and then he wasn't saying anything, and then, like,
that just makes him look more guilty. That's the thing.
Exactly. And then I asked her, like, because her and I had been friends, but the thing was, like, I guess in their relationship, they argued about me, which I had no idea had happened.
Relationship styles, that's something else to look into. If someone's an avoidant type, we're gonna continue, but it sounds like he's an avoidant type. So if you bring something up, he's gonna shut down.
Well, oh God, that's a whole nother story as well. And so I was like, wait, because for me, if I'm like, that's why I had, like, come to you. I was like, I thought I could trust you, because I thought you were my friend and you would be up front. And she was like, pretty much, she was like, well, I don't really see you as a friend. And I was like, all right. So already the perspective of you having that mentality against me doesn't, like, that shifts everything that you said to me. Like, when I called you that night, I'm like, I was like, were you ever going to tell me? And she was like, no, essentially. Yeah. Like, there were other fluffy words, but I was like, essentially, you weren't going to tell me. So I was like, I understand how you see me and who I am in your eyes. So that's I was like, that's why I was like, well, shit, he wasn't lying.
Damn, it sounds like
Lord Jesus, I'm going to throw out these attachment styles really quick. Just
Please talk about it. Please talk about it.
Attachment styles. So there's secure. Secure is confident, reciprocal, non-reactive, and resilient. There is anxious, preoccupied, which is emotional hunger, fantasy bond, lack of nurturing, and turbulence. There's dismissive, avoidant, which seems like this one, what he was experiencing, which results in isolation, ambiguity, ambivalence, and emotionally distanced. So that sounds like that's his
last one
style.
right there.
And the last one, fearful, avoidant, internal conflict, dramatic, unpredictable, and ambivalent.
Oh.
So I know mine. My attachment style is secure and anxious, preoccupied. In my relationships, if I feel like something's going wrong, I actually attach stronger. And I want to make sure that the person isn't gonna fleet off. And so I get anxious. And through that bout of being anxious, I will text more. I'll call more. I want to know what's going on. And when I'm secure, there's none of that. It's just nice. It's calm.
Do they have like a survey to what kind of defines that? Because I know in the 5 love languages, if you go on the website, you can like take a survey and it tells you.
Yeah,
there could be, but these are very general. So for attachment styles, if you actually research them, there's so much more in-depth information. And just by reading that, you'll know if that's you. If you exhibit, pulling away and isolating yourself when you're stressed. If they say, hey, if your partner says we need to have a talk, what is your reaction? Do you want to go into another room and avoid them? Then it's that. So there was only 4, and they're pretty clear cut. So you look into that. That's a really good one to know. Cool. And it's good to know what your partner's attachment style is too, because, or what are we really calling this?
How did this affect your leadership?
I assaulted another person on the team, so they had to cut me.
That's what they like.
And so I had talked with like my friends and like my friend who had like whose house that had happened at, and they were very, very gracious with me, because honestly, like I probably could have gone to jail with what happened. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, they asked me to come back. They asked me to do more projects. Now they asked me to be a principal dancer. Nice. They asked me to be on board again.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because
this is actually going to be Lauren's last podcast. So she's actually leaving us.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's one of those things. People judging a good person off their worst day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because in essence, you're not that, but you're just going through a rough patch, and to be judged based off that is unfair to everything else you've done.
This thing's gonna be released in like at least 6 months.
But anyways, it's just going into this, like being in your own, leading a team. What do you think are the top 3 values?
I really followed leaders who led by example. Yeah, because how I firmly believe how you do anything is how you do everything. And yeah, and so like, someone could say something nice, or they could, but if there's like the accountability on the end of it, if that's not happening, then I'm like. Other leader. and it's not going to be, it's never malicious. You know what I mean? You'll vibe with it. And then once you start, which I don't think is bad, because people make mistakes and people will falter here and there. And I think you should have a lot of grace with everyone, honestly. But that is one strong point, lead by example. And that actually goes into my second point. I have a lot of respect for leaders who do have a lot of grace and who understand that we are all human and we are just doing our best, because something can happen and you can like get berated or criticized, and then something can happen, and then the person you're looking up to really takes the time to understand what's going on and see how they can be of service and of help to you, so that you can stand on your own. You know what I mean? So those are 2 qualities. I can't think of a third. Please go.
Oh gosh. I mean, it's just feeding off what you just said, having empathy, and also very connected to what I was saying earlier, being a manager, paying attention to the strengths of your team members. So in dance, same thing. You want to notice what your members want out of their dance career. Do they want to, be on Broadway one day? Do they want to strengthen their classic skills or any other type of dance? What are they best at? What do they want to work on? You don't want to throw them into the wrong thing and set them up to fail. So yeah, I feel like it's really important to pay attention and know your team, not just gain a bunch of members on and then, go through rigorous rehearsals and you barely even know anyone. You don't know what their background is. Get to know the people around you, get to know who's helping you build your company and your brand and what you stand behind, and make sure you're all on the same page and you understand each other. That you have the same mission, that you all have the same outcome. Yeah. Take it away, Emeroy.
What is it? Top 3 values.
Out of a leader.
I think what you guys said already is empathy, which is, I think,
empathy.
the most. Because a lot of people who are not in a leadership role, who are in a sense just the members, more often than not, they feel unheard. They feel like they're just a number. They feel like they're just to fill a spot.
Yes.
For a leader to practice empathy, it looks like a million different ways. It's having a one-on-one conversation with them on the phone. It's going out for lunch. It's listening. A huge part of empathy is listening. It's creating a space for you to be vulnerable, so they can be vulnerable first, so they can be vulnerable back, in a sense. Because as leaders, I'm projecting, but I assume that many people who are in leadership positions feel like they have to be strong. They can't seem weak, because then if the leadership was weak, then the whole company was weak. In reality, because it depends on how you present it. If you're willing to share a part of a mistake you did, and actually show emotion, and that can help, because then they see that they're not perfect or whatever, or you don't have to be strong all the time.
Yeah.
And there's another one, empathetic vulnerability, I guess, since I was saying that and it's weird, because vulnerability is literally, it's such a weird thing, because I don't know, it's a matter of honesty for yourself and to everyone, and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
No,
and it
I
offers
think,
accountability too.
Yeah.
And I guess in terms of vulnerability, I think there's a certain way that people have to understand how to be vulnerable. Like for me, this took a lot of reflection, because I can talk to people about a lot of things that have happened to me. Like if I haven't just anything, I think there's a certain point where it's okay, well, I'm comfortable with that. How can I work on being comfortable, or how can I work on being vulnerable in a way where I'm not going to be regurgitating these same situations? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is what I'm trying to do right now. You got this. You can do it.
Therapy.
Therapy. Honestly.
And then I think the last one I would say is optimistic.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I don't think, there's a whole thing, misery loves company, but and especially with people who are, I think people often gravitate towards leaders who see a future or a possibility that not everyone sees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People gravitate towards it. It's like a moth and a light. They all just swarm because they're like, oh my gosh. But that's true. That's why, I mean, some people you'll see in your life, and some people you won't see, because some people will give you that hope that there's something more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're a Debbie Downer, then people don't it doesn't matter how real you might how realistic you might be.
Real,
yeah,
real
because
negative.
yeah, because as much as something might be truth, I always feel like you can say something that there is a better way to say something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than just for some people, I think that goes into communication. You're gonna have to figure out a way to say something to this person, but you also you can't just be an asshole, or you can
choose your
I don't know.
words.
Yeah, or you can. Yeah,
it depends, and rapport is very important.
That is true.
I wouldn't be an asshole to someone
that you just met.
That I just met. Hey, you fucking, and then they're take out their, I'm fucking with. Just start. I'm like, oh, it was a joke. I'm 5'3", leave me alone.
We're trying.
But it only works with them because they get where I'm coming from, yeah. I mean, words. I mean, the way you approach things do matter.
Yeah.
Because you can, for example, someone's going through a rough time and you're like, tough it up. They're going through a rough time and you're being so cold. And then my favorite thing, it's something I took from therapy. I think it's either couples therapy or individual therapy, but either way, it's like it's a very, very powerful sentence. It's like, I can only imagine what you're going through. Like, I can only imagine how frustrated you feel. I can only imagine how lonely you feel right now. But just know I'm here for you. But,
wow. Yeah, that's good.
Right?
Holy shit.
Because it's what else can I say? It's like, oh, that sucks. That's a one way. It's one way empathy. Just like sometimes but I feel like that way is like, for me, I'm not a huge fan of saying I understand. Do you really though?
Yeah.
Are you that person?
Yeah.
Are you living their life? Are you seeing the world they are? No, you're not. But that's why I say I can only imagine what's happening with her mind, how frustration they go through. And then I offer reassurance, but by saying, but I'm here for you, but I know you're going to be fine, but I still think you're a great person, but I still think you're a great dancer. Because it's like, when people are in a rough time, it's like they lose sight of how awesome they are.
Oh, for sure.
So, and then that simple sentence itself is, it's great. So, and it sounds tactical, it sounds scripted, but sometimes, choreography is better than freestyle.
That's true. And honestly, like, I've learned this just in a lot of jobs, actually. Like, having a script, it's there for a reason. It's not like people think scripts and you're like, oh, I'm like a robot. And it's like, you have to get to a certain point to where you can understand like what's going on. Like, I'm not just regurgitating these words from you to try to get something out of you. I'm saying it because it's going to make you think a certain way, which isn't bad, but like, we're trying like I want you to like understand something, and I can't necessarily do that if I can't communicate to you. Yeah. So the script helps me to communicate to you in a way that's effective.
Yeah, it's like the same with dancing. Like, if you want to learn how to break, you just don't start doing it. You got to learn the moves first before you can freestyle it.
Yeah.
So it feels scripted first, but once you start doing it, and you see the wonders of like, oh, how good people feel, how safe they feel when you say certain things that you can say that they're a fucking idiot, but still love them.
That was said a lot in the past 24 hours.
I can only imagine what you're thinking right now.
I called someone an idiot a lot, but it was in a loving way. I'm like, I was actually stupid.
There was this guy I was dating, and I called people like bitch or hoe, like playfully, and I said that to him.
I love you,
and
bitch.
or I was like, get it, bitch, and then he was like, what? And I was like, oh, you're not. The intent behind my word is definitely to hype you up, but you're not taking it that way. So I'm gonna take that into account.
Are you calling me a little bitch?
Yeah, I'm gonna. No, seriously. And I took that into account, and like if I would say, I was like, oh, sorry, I honestly didn't mean that. I know that it makes you think a certain way, so I was like I honestly, I took the note like right there. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't actually mean it like that.
My friend won't let me live it down. I've jokingly called him stupid. I've jokingly called him a cunt. I've jokingly called him.
I might call you that
and but he'll throw it back in my face. He's like, oh, but I'm stupid. So, and I'm like, I know,
so passive aggressive.
That's wow.
Wow.
Wow. I feel that, and I'm like, where's the affirmation? Where's the affirmation?
And then I say all the positive. I'm like, no, you're not. I wouldn't be talking to you if you were. If you're bright, you're this, you're that, and I'm
but like, you're still stupid though. I'm like,
oh God, please don't watch this. He's good.
6 months from now. He
just sends you a message the day this podcast is released.
He's like,
I'm stupid, right?
Stupid, right? He would. But I say positive. Yeah. Okay. Oh God. I say positive things though, and I'm like, let's repeat that. Let's repeat the positive things I've said. Yeah. But no, it doesn't matter.
Because I'm still stupid, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy how like those things will like stick in your head, and it's actually super, super important how you talk to yourself, and how I have this book. Oh my gosh, I need to reread it again. But like, real negative words, no matter how much you can be like joking, they subconsciously like
yes. And so I've cut it out for sure.
Yeah.
But I've tried to say like it's a term of endearment. You know, I say this to all my friends, and it's just it's second nature, right? If you're my girlfriend, you're my hey cunt, you know. It's a sweet thing, and all my girlfriends know this. But I understand, so I did switch up my vocabulary, and I've been trying to say nice things and not berate him in any kind of joking way.
Improve, but like that's awesome, because that shows you growth in yourself. Like you're not gonna, even though it is second nature to you, you are willing to unlearn that behavior because you know it makes someone feel a certain way, and
it's not easy.
And it's not
She's
easy.
Still unlearning. But like, she started yesterday.
Yeah, but that's relationships. Like, are we willing to put aside our pride and how we feel about something to grow for that other person?
Shelving your agenda.
Yeah, like that's a really big thing.
Shelving your agenda.
Oh, look it up. It's on from. I learned it from Cinema Therapy.
I've never heard of it that way, but I totally understand.
Because. I don't know if you guys have watched it. If it's there's a YouTube channel called Cinema Therapy. It's a therapist that watches movies. And he diagnoses some people.
Oh.
I don't know what's exactly behind that, but I just texted it to that guy as a way for me to remember.
Okay.
But hopefully he'll Google it. I hope you learned something right now.
Because it's exactly what you just said. Because like when it's putting aside, you're like when you go into a situation, you put aside like what you want. Boom, just to listen and be present for them.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh yeah, where the fuck were you? You know.
Yeah.
So, check it out. They did it. This whole like Cinema Therapy part. The episode was on Frozen 2.
Oh,
it was really good.
Oh my gosh.
It was really he was like saying like the good things about I forgot the sisters
Elsa,
boyfriend.
Yeah. Krystle.
And then Kristoff. Yeah, he was like saying like. That was the best example for kids about shelving your agenda of like, you know, getting and just being of help right off the bat. So it's great. And he also diagnoses the Joker and like the things. Wow. It's super fun. It's really good. Good. And because in listening to it, I'm like, I'm learning about myself. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And they recently did Twilight too. About toxic relationships.
Yo, Twilight has been on the like all of my friends have just been like watching Twilight and just like
Are they hate watching it?
No, I think more so some of them had never seen it and they're watching it now as an adult and they're like
like this really did not help me.
My God.
My therapist recently gave me some sheets and some of them had to do with toxic or you know, connections and behaviors that aren't necessarily appropriate, things to look out for. And right in her face, I was looking at them and I'm like, but I like this stuff. like love bombing and like I like
love bombing. That's
love
like
bombing. What's that?
That's like some that's some cult shit.
We've been love bombed for sure. You guys have. I mean, it's when you just start talking to someone and they love bomb you. They're calling you, texting you, making you feel like you are on a pedestal. You are their world, and they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink, love-wise, at you before they even know your last name. And they fill you up. They fill your cup within the first week, and then you know that might just disappear afterwards. And you always have to be wary of people that love bomb because it's like. They like to play house. They like to play relationship. They don't really want to be alone. So they want to hurry up and see how fast they can get you in a situation so they can fill their own cup of feeling like I have a partner, I have a relationship. But they'll do it very fast. Like within a week
gosh.
to 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
It's going to seem like you guys are headed to marriage and then they're just going to disappear.
That is crazy because the things that happen like after that situation, like it's like a textbook. It's like a textbook example situation. Woo!
Yeah, that they also use love bombing for cults.
Oh yeah, for sure. I believe that. And it makes you feel so good. It's so dangerous.
Yeah.
Watch out for that.
Oh my gosh.
That's where they, especially if you're in a vulnerable situation, like whether it's like an individual or a cult. Like if you're
They know what your weaknesses are. And
take
they
advantage
feed
of
off
that.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If a guy asks you what your needs are and all of that, and starts delivering on them
Never gonna hurt you.
immediately and
Oh my
giving you all
God.
these promises.
I think that's what you said. I'm never gonna hurt you. That's a red flag. For sure. Or like, you're perfect for me. Like, oh, that's a
you don't even know.
yeah.
me.
And I'm like, yo, like,
How do I handle my finances? Can you handle how I
yeah.
handle my finances?
Yeah.
Am I perfect for you?
Uh-huh.
I want to do your taxes.
Ooh, wow. Who turned the heater?
All right. Any closing thoughts?
Oh
You want
my
to? We're
gosh.
reaching 2 hours.
Yeah, guys, relationships aren't easy. Everything feeds into itself. How you handle relationships to how you handle your career and family, it's all tied. So the more you know about yourself, the more you know about the people around you, it'll all run a lot smoother. So
I feel like this podcast made me more aware of how unready for like marriage or like a relationship that I am. Which
It's good. Yeah.
which is great. It's great, and
Just be single forever. I'm just kidding.
you know, oh man, honestly, being single is fun. It's fun. It's like it's very empowering.
it's safe.
It is safe. it's safe emotionally and like physically, and you're not vulnerable with anyone. But I'm also like,
I want that.
Companionship.
I had this talk with my friend the other day, and I was like, even I want that. I want to have a family. I want to like have that special someone, and I want like all of that. I want to have that type of life, and like I understand how I guess far away I am from that right now, or I don't know, maybe not. But I don't know. Yeah.
Let's see what happens in 6 months. Let's see where she's at.
Yeah.
You never know.
I know. Have you guys seen that meme? It's of this guy sitting in a car, and then in the mirror it says objects in the mirror are closer than you appear.
Yeah.
And there's a guy running.
Yeah, it's 2022.
No, it's not even that. It's Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. because Christmas is in like 4 months.
So, it's Halloween for some right now.
Oh my god, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. With that, if you guys like this, make sure you hit like, subscribe, share this with friends who you think might enjoy it. Support these two. Follow them in wherever they are on Instagram. I think you guys are probably on Instagram.
Don't stalk me.
So-
Don't stalk me.
do all the things, like, subscribe, support us on Patreon. It allows us to create like projects like this, things like Temper Tantrum Versus, if you guys are enjoying that. And
It's fun.
we appreciate all your support, and thank you all those who are current patrons or past patrons. I get people come and go, but yeah, with that, we appreciate you guys for watching. Have an amazing night, day, evening, decade, whenever or wherever you're watching this. Take care. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.